I titled this The Spirit of Truth versus the Spirit of Antichrist. Okay, this chapter is going to mention the Antichrist. And you guys heard of the Antichrist before?
Yeah, Satan.
All right, yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and check out here. First verse, okay, 1 John 4, verse 1. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world. Whew. Now that can be kind of a strange verse, right? Test the spirits. I mean, what does that mean? Like, test the spirits? What spirit? I mean, if I were to ask you guys, have you guys ever had to test a spirit before? I mean, what does that mean? Like, a spirit, give a spirit a math test? Or, what are we talking about here? It can be kind of hard to apply. Like, what is going on? So I thought we would dig into this a little bit. So trying to apply a verse like this to your and my life. Okay? So spirit. What comes to mind when you hear spirit? What do you think it is?
I think of like the Holy Spirit.
Think of like the Holy Spirit. Okay? When it says test this, don't believe every spirit, but test the spirits. What do you think the spirits are there?
It's like if things are there, but they don't have like physical bodies.
Okay. So a being that doesn't have a physical body. And the Holy Spirit would count, right?
Maybe like angels and demons.
Maybe like angels and demons. Okay. So yeah, one definition would be a being that, motivates or energizes a person in some way. Okay. How exactly that happens, we don't have a whole lot of details on that, but that's one way of looking at what a spirit is. It's some sort of being that doesn't have a physical body, but it somehow motivates or energizes a person. Okay. Ephesians has a verse about this. In Ephesians 2, verse 1 and 2, it says this: As for you, you were dead in your transgressions and sins in which you used to live when you followed the ways of this world and of the ruler of the kingdom of the air, the Spirit who is now at work in those who are disobedient. So we see there that we don't usually think about it that way. People who are disobedient, there's actually a spirit at work in them. Okay, motivating them, energizing them in some way. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean they're like demon possessed or controlled robotically, but they're being influenced by spirits. Okay, and it says here the Spirit is now at work. There's the ruler of this world. There's a spirit at work in everyone who's disobedient. I don't know about you, but I don't usually think of it in those terms. But I want to adjust my thinking and go, oh, okay, there's something more going on than what we can see all the time. There is another way that spirit can be used, and it's used this way at school sometimes too. Like, what does it mean to have school spirit? Energy, yeah. Or dressing up, like, yeah, you're excited about your school spirit, school pride, whatever. You want your team to win, right? So that's another way that the word spirit is used sometimes. And when somebody says, "Oh, I have school spirit," we're not thinking of like a school demon, right? That's not what we're thinking about, right? So it's a person's own inner character or attitude that motivates them, right? So if you have a lot of school spirit, your attitude is like you're motivated to cheer on your school team or whatever. Okay, so there's two different ways spirit can be used, and I think probably definition number one is more what John is talking about here. Don't believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world. Okay, how can we apply this to our lives? First question is, how does the message get from the Spirit, whatever that is, to the Christians who are reading John's letter? All right? John wrote this, and the Christians are reading it, and John is telling the Christians to not believe every spirit, but to test the spirit. Test all the spirits. So, how does the message get from a spirit to somebody reading John's letter? Via a false prophet. Okay? So, it's not like the Spirit is communicating directly to all these Christians. It's the Spirit is communicating through false prophets to these Christians. Okay? So the false prophets are used to get certain messages to the Christians. And John's saying, hey, don't believe every spirit. Don't believe every spirit you see. And there's many of them. Okay? One thing as I look at this, I think when it says to test the spirits, it basically means to be testing the many messages coming your way. Okay, be testing the many messages that come your way. The spirits are delivering messages through false prophets. Does that make sense? And so when it says test the spirits, you may not, it probably doesn't mean like interview demons, okay? But one thing that you can do to apply this to yourself is test messages that come your way. Now, messages are coming your way, but it's not like, probably none of us in the room have actually heard a message delivered straight from a spirit. I have not. At least I don't think I have. Okay? And same thing here. The messages are delivered through people called false prophets. That's the messenger delivery system. Okay? So nowadays, maybe you've never even said, oh, that guy's a false prophet. Maybe that's even hard to relate to. Okay? So to apply this verse, whether you call him a false prophet or not, there's some false messages coming your way and coming my way. And when it says to test the spirits, how about we can say, all right, hey, the least I can do is test the messages that are coming toward me. That makes sense? All right? How do messages come to you? Okay. Yeah, don't believe every text message that comes your way, right? Sometimes literal scams come through text messages. I get scams all the time. Do you guys get scams?
Yeah, they're always like, hey, John.
Yeah, right. I got a text message just yesterday. Hey, do you have time for coffee this week? And I'm like, yeah, I do actually, but I don't know who in the world you are.
You should just like say like, yeah, how many
Yeah, no, I don't want to. I feel like if I reply, then I'm going to get on the list. This sucker will reply to anything, and they're going to keep on texting me. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. So another text message I got was this one's common. Like, oh, hey, your number's in my contacts list, but I got a new phone. Who is this? And I'm like, no. Oh, yeah, all the time.
Yeah, this is the President of the United States.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. So at any rate, all right, how do messages come your way? Literally, text messages. How else? What other kind of messages? Speaking with. Yeah, absolutely. Simply speaking with people. Right. Yeah, Josh.
I mean, like
Letters. Letters. Who does that? What is a letter? I don't even know what that is. Maybe email. Email. What's that? Right? Huh? Oh, social media. That gives you messages all the time. Okay. So one way that you can apply this difficult verse, right? It's like spirits. When do I don't. How about test the messages coming your way? What you're getting from social media, test it and see whether it's from God or not. Boy, is that an interesting thought. Is this message from social media, whatever is being communicated, is this from God or not? That's a worthwhile question to ask. Because you know what is behind things? The ruler of the air, like Ephesians 2 says, the ruler of this world it's the devil, right? and is motivating people. There's spirits, there are real spirits behind some of these things, and we don't usually think about it. Yeah.
So could you say like also movies?
Oh, yeah, every movie has a message in it. Yep.
So instead of saying like that's a bad person, you could say like that's a person being controlled by a bad spirit.
Possibly. I don't know about the word controlled, because I don't know. Used. Used, yeah. Influenced, yeah.
Well, then most movies that are actually good, most of the time have like swear words and stuff in it. Which I seem like that's definitely not from God.
Right.
Does that mean that we shouldn't watch it? Like if it's, I mean like just like a couple, but like I don't know.
Well, it's going to be impossible to not get certain messages thrown at you, but you need to test it, all right? You need to test the messages that come your way. So you need to be discerning it, right? This is an interesting movie here, but you know what? Not only is there swear words or whatever, but they're also trying to call sin okay. And they'll throw that into the movie, right?
But what if it's like you kill someone to like save your friend? Is that sin? What?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things. I'll just give you an example of a movie. I was watching a movie once where the hero of the movie, this is why I don't watch James Bond movies. All right? I don't know if you, 007 movies or whatever, because I feel like, and I'm not telling you can't or that they're bad, but James Bond is like the hero of the movie, but he's an immoral man. And nowhere does the immorality get condemned in the movie. Instead, it makes him look cooler. They try to make him look cooler for being basically a womanizer. He
I don't get it. He doesn't die?
no, immoral.
Immoral.
Immoral would mean sexually impure. So he uses women, doesn't marry them, and he uses them for sin.
Like Tony Stark.
Like Tony, that's another one. Okay, Iron Man. I turned it off. I still have never finished the movie Iron Man simply because the hero of the movie is treating women like objects, and he's saying all kinds of inappropriate things. And I'm like, they're not condemning it either. They're making it funny. They're using humor, and that's another thing. A lot of comedies, it is so hard to find a good, funny movie because the jokes are often they're basically making sin funny. So it's much harder for me to find a good action movie than it is to find a good comedy. That is the hardest one for me. I don't know. So yeah, those are great examples. We need to be testing the messages coming into me, right? Coming into you. Test them and see whether they're from God. Because you know what? Many false messages are coming our way all the time. The secular, the music out there mostly is presenting a false idea of what love is. And that damages people. So we need to be discerning things, okay? And I would say it's impossible. We're not going to walk around with blindfolds and earplugs. So your messages are going to come your way. And it's our job as Christians to test the messages. And I phrase it this way on purpose: be testing the messages. Because that's what this word actually means. It's a present tense continual. Keep on testing. Don't just test once. That's why I phrase it this way. Be testing. That's the kind of person that you need to be. And see if it's from God. Okay? Now, fortunately, Tony Stark did kind of clean up his act, I think, a little bit in later Avengers movies, so I have watched some of those. But the first one was just kind of tough for me. I don't know. All right, the next verses. Now, see, John is great. He said, test the spirits, and then he goes into, this is how to test the spirits. This is how you can recognize the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God. But every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the antichrist, which you have heard is coming, even now is already in the world. Now, what in the world does this mean? Does that mean literally we're going to so spirit, do you believe Jesus Christ has come in the flesh? Is that what it means? I guess you could do that if you ever somehow saw a spirit. But the word confess there, every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh, every spirit that does not confess Jesus. That word confess is an interesting word, and I'll define it for you. To openly declare one's allegiance. To openly declare one's allegiance. So that's a little different than just saying, oh yeah, I believe in Jesus. It's you are openly saying, yes, my allegiance, my loyalty is to Jesus. You guys know what allegiance means? Yep. Like I pledge allegiance to the flag? Yeah. What's that?
I don't really know.
Isn't that where like
Allegiance is like
Oh, yeah.
like my loyalty. You know, a knight, picture, what's that? Yeah, promise to be loyal. So the Pledge of Allegiance is I pledge allegiance to the flag. That means people are pledging to be loyal to the flag. Huh?
No, never mind. It's not even important.
Okay. So, yeah. Anyway, so allegiance. So a spirit that confesses, and I don't want to get too into this, but if you confess Jesus, that means you're saying, hey, he is my Lord. And this is in Romans 10:9, the famous verse. You guys, this is like an Awana verse, I'm sure. Romans 10:9. If you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. That's what that confess means. You are speaking out with your mouth, Jesus is Lord. Isn't that an allegiance statement? Jesus is my Lord, my boss, my commander, right? And that's the same thing. Any spirit, any message that comes your way, if it's not in submission to Jesus, right? If that message is not one that somebody who is allegiant to Jesus is saying, somebody who's loyal to Jesus, then it's a unloyal to Jesus message. And that's what anti-Christ means. What's anti? Against. Yeah, against. It's opposite of. Against Christ. So you're either for Christ or against Christ, and that's what this is saying, you know? So think about that. Think about that in terms of like loyalty, allegiance to Christ. Right? And that's what faith, the word faith, kind of has that built in. What is somebody who is faithful to their spouse? Faithful, they're loyal, right? They stick with their spouse, okay? So faith and loyal allegiance are really hand in hand. Okay. All right, so we're gonna test the messages, the spirits, by saying, is this promoting allegiance to Jesus or not? Right? If not, it's the spirit of the Antichrist. Right? Now, you know, let's stick with some. There are some, even some secular love songs, not Christian. But you know what? Whether the person that wrote them is Christian or not, I don't know. But I have definitely heard some songs that promote real love, like real love. It's not Antichrist then. It's like, okay, maybe even if they're not Christians, God can even use a donkey to speak, which he did in the Bible. Balaam's donkey, okay? So we got to test the messages, okay? Most messages from secular love songs are not. I would say they're more Antichrist. But same thing, right? A movie, maybe the movie is not preaching directly about Jesus, but the movie is about laying down your life for your brothers to save somebody else.
This made me think of something, but I didn't want to spoil something.
Oh, okay. What?
From the Avengers,
Uh-huh.
the last one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. That's one of my favorites, okay? So, you know, but you got to test it and see it. Test and see. That's what I do with every movie I watch. Test and see. Is this from God? Is this good? If not, turn it off. If it's motivating me to be more loyal to Christ and lay my life down for others, I'm all about it. Love it, okay? But we can't just be mindlessly taking in messages. Can't just mindlessly take in anything. I guarantee you, if you spend any time scrolling social media videos, there's definitely some antichrist stuff that you need to see and reject. Right? It's antichrist. And there's some other stuff that might encourage your faith. Got to test it. All right? The Antichrist is already in the world. The spirit of the Antichrist, already there. All right? Now, the Antichrist seems to be a future thing, according to 2 Thessalonians 2. But the spirit of the Antichrist, the spirit of anti-Jesus, against Jesus, is right now in the world. Don't let the messages from the Antichrist get into your head and heart. Next, little children, you are from God and have overcome them, for he who is in you is greater than he is in the world. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like when the Antichrist is going to come.
Yeah.
Do you think that he would like be born and like have a real like full life like Jesus did? Like, do you think that someone will be his parents and like have to live with what their kid does?
That's, you know what, I have not spent hardly any time thinking deeply about that. That sounds like a possibility, right? But I'm not 100% sure about what that would be. Makes sense. But.
He'd probably be like smooth work and say anything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, smooth.
And didn't the Bible say like the Antichrist could be like kind of popular?
Yeah, deceive many.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next verse, they are from the world, therefore they speak from the world, and the world listens to them. So, all right, first, right, verse 4 here. This is encouraging. You are from God and have overcome them. Greater is he who's in you than he who's in the world. Sounds kind of bleak. There are many false prophets, many false messages, many spirits. It's a spiritual battle. Oh my goodness, Antichrist is here. Ah! And I love that the next verse is, hey, Jesus is greater. So it's not a hopeless battle because Jesus is with us if we're with him. All right, so then they are from the world, these false messages, false prophets, they're from the world, therefore they speak from the world and the world listens to them. 6, we're from God. Whoever knows God listens to us. Whoever is not from God does not listen to us. And by this we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Who's listening to us, the apostles? Who's listening to the apostles and prophets that are sent from God? That's how you discern who's from God and who's not. Okay, pretty straightforward stuff. Okay. Now, when the world, does this make it sound like how it's phrased here? Little children, you're from God. They are from the world listens to them. Does it make it sound like that Christians are outnumbered? like the whole world? There's a viewpoint that the whole world speaks from. And if a Christian says something, I don't think so, the whole world's like, right? The whole world is going to attack you. Does that make sense there? You know, it's like the world, some of you will appreciate this next little picture. Michigan versus everybody. All right. If you don't know what that is, this happened because like with the different scandals that have happened with Michigan and all this stuff. And I'm not defending those, but Michigan like came up with this. I don't think they came up with it, but they started using this slogan like, "Oh, everybody's against us. Everybody's against us." And honestly, I know. Thank you. You state fans are definitely against Michigan. Okay, but the point is, I don't even care. Okay, but the point is, Christians versus everybody is sometimes a reality. Okay, you stand up for Jesus, and the everybody is going to think you're weird, call you names, whatever. Okay, so the important thing about this, who cares about Michigan? Put anything here. Replace that with Christians and maybe a cross. Okay, that's what this is saying. Look, there is a world viewpoint. And some of you have mentioned and asked questions about this before, right? Like from homosexuality or, whatever it is that the world has an agenda for, it is very much a popular agenda that Christians have to fight against sometimes. Okay? So it is a us versus the world type mentality here that is talked about. That makes sense? A little bit? Okay. All right. Key takeaways. Okay, just a few key takeaways here. Ideas are not neutral. Ideas or messages that come your way are not usually, maybe I should say usually, but it might not ever be neutral. Something is going to be from God or not. Isn't that how 1 John 4 has read? This is from God, this is antichrist. Like stark differences here. Okay? So ideas are not hardly ever neutral. Maybe I'll say hardly ever. Okay? Be careful, not just what messages come into you, but what ideas you chew on. What ideas go around in your head. You all ruminate sometimes. Careful. Not every idea is from God. Always examine the ideas coming your way. Okay? Always examine the ideas, even your own thoughts. Well, is this like the way Jesus would think right now? Maybe not. I think I'll think differently. Ask yourself, is this from God or not, right? That's what 1 John is saying, right? Could this be an antichrist part? Josh mentioned some movies sometimes can seem, that part might be antichrist here. I don't think I'm gonna go along with that part. Is this in agreement with Scripture or not, right? Those who listen to us are from God, John says, right? Those who listen to the Scriptures are from God. I'm not going to move forward here. So, two big takeaways. Recognizing ideas are not neutral. And examine the ideas coming your way. And you guys understand what I mean by neutral? That's really the sneakiness of the Antichrist, is to disguise a evil idea as neutral or good. And that's where discernment comes in. Okay, that's where we have to really test it to see if it's from God. Right? All right, any other thoughts, questions?